YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about the Super Soldier program today. I just need to make sure that you can hear me and everything. So just give me a minute. It's funny, everything's going wrong. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to take a risk. Okay then, so welcome to my third live stream. Super Soldier program. Well, what is a Super Soldier? A Super Soldier is a agent that is unknowingly working for the government as a hitman, spy, agent, that kind of thing, who carries out undercover, top secret operations for the government. Now, what makes a Super Soldier different to a normal MI5 agent? Well, they've been put through trauma-based mind control. Now, what is trauma-based mind control? Well, any child under the age of 5 who is put through sexual abuse or trauma has a split subconscious mind because right, think of it like a mirror, okay? And when a mirror smashes, it turns one thing into multiple things. And when we as human beings go through tremendously painful trauma, the subconscious mind cracks like a mirror, and this creates DID, dissociative identity disorder, and multiple personality disorder. So it gives the government the ability to create ulterior personalities, not ulterior, alternate personalities. It's very complex, but it's something that I want to talk about, and it's something that I feel needs to be out there. So you'll have to just be patient with me, because sometimes I need to get into that mode of channeling, talking fluently. So, around the age of 5 years old, if not before then, is when the SRA, satanic ritual abuse, will happen. And, this goes hand in hand with all the churches and what you hear about with Jimmy Savile and child abuse. This is 60% of the reason for that, amongst other things that I will go into in further videos. So once they've achieved the split in the subconscious mind, that is when they can actually program into the human being another personality in which that they wish to coincide with the role in which that they're there to do, basically. So, when you think about it, the best spy that one can have is the one that doesn't actually know that they're a spy. And so how does this information actually, because they wipe the mind of the normal person, they have no idea that they have this other personality that goes out and kills people or does other things. They have no memory of it, absolutely none. However, when the super soldier gets to 30, the other personalities within them begin to merge into their own, and they begin to remember. That is how we are aware of it now, is because these people have spoken out about their experiences. So the mind control program, it first began during World War II with Operation Paperclip, and it was all to do with the don't like to say Nazis really, because it's a highly used term which could confuse it, but yeah, it was around that time, and it was during that it was tested with. However, I've completely lost what I was going to say now. I'm just going to... just pulled up the Wikipedia definition of it. It's right, Project MKUltra, also called the CIA Mind Control Program, is the code name given to the program of experiments on human subjects that were designed and undertaken by the US Central Intelligence Agency, some of which were illegal. Experiments on humans were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual and the force confessions through mind control. The project was organised through the Office of Scientific Intelligence and coordinated within the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. MKUltra used numerous methods to manipulate its subjects' mental states and brain functions. I mean, it is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. Now, the Super Soldier program goes hand in hand with the Monarch slave program. Just bear with me 1 minute. So, Monarch mind control. Project Monarch is an alleged government black program to create mind-controlled slaves for use as spies, assassins, couriers and prostitutes. Monarchs carry out their assignments and consequently have no memory of their actions. According to some estimates, there are over 2 million Americans currently under mind control. Monarch slaves are taken as infants and are traumatized using electroshocks, drugs, sexual abuse, mind games and hypnosis in order to force the mind to split and create an alternative personality to deal with the pain. So, I mean, I should have found this website really before I tried to give my own interpretation, but hey-ho. The victim imagines that someone else is being tortured and the mind is forced to split. Each personality, or alter, is then programmed and trained to perform specific tasks and missions. One alter can be a deadly assassin, trained in martial arts, explosives and weaponry, while another, an innocent-looking courier, carrying clandestine messages between world leaders, mob bosses, puppet dictators and Hollywood insiders. Alters perform their assignments without the knowledge of the host's main or front personality. The traumas create amnesia walls between the different personalities, meaning that the alter is totally unaware of the existence of the others. Monarchs can have hundreds of different alters coexisting inside of them. Programmers insert codes and signals which are used by the controllers to call up different personalities and give command. For example, mission completed DIA 5018 could cause the slave to go into a deep sleep. Walt Disney and Hollywood are real big on the whole monarch mind control thing, and it goes into it on this. Disney, the studio, and the theme parks are often cited by monarch victims as an essential part of the programmer's mind control. Programmers use electroshock in combination with Fantasia's imagery to induce dissociative personalities and for programming. Program runners realised that bringing in people from all over the world to military facilities would eventually give rise to suspicions, and so they worked with Walt Disney in designing his theme parks to include facilities for mind control programming. Many of the rides are designed for use in mind control and to traumatise young children. MGM's Wizard of Oz and Disney's Alice in Wonderland are the favourites of monarch programmers. Victims are told to go over the rainbow or there's no place like home to reach a safe place in Wizard of Oz programming, or go through the looking glass if using Alice in Wonderland. Follow the yellow brick road or follow the white rabbit are triggers to follow the programmer's command. Illuminati programmers designed Star Wars for use in trauma-based mind control programming. Monarch programming is also used on the masses via movies, televisions and music. They are used to desensitize the public or to trigger programmers in mind-controlled slaves. A couple of examples of famous celebrities or actors with alternative personalities is Nicki Minaj as Roman Zolanski, Eminem as Slim Shady, and Beyonce as Sasha Fierce. Now, is there any proof of Monarch's existence? No, there is no proof. The evidence for the existence of Project Monarch comes entirely in the form of the victims' testimonies, which are often based on memories recovered through hypnosis. The program is often described as a sub-project of MKUltra, an acknowledged CIA program into mind control and behaviour modification. There is no doubt that the government had an interest in controlling minds that employed drugs, hypnosis, electroshocks, radiation and other forms of torture on US citizens without their consent to achieve its aims. Let's have a good look at the government research that possibly relates to Project Monarch. So, the US government modification research. As the United States grew into its role of superpower, it developed an interest in mind control and a desire to control human behaviour. At the same time, Nazi scientist Dr. Kurt Plotner experimented with mescaline on prisoners at Dachau to eliminate the will of the person examined. Dr. Winifred Overholser performed similar experiments on unwitting subjects at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Washington, D.C. Plotner was eventually recruited by US intelligence as part of Operation Paperclip, a post-war program to recruit valuable Nazi scientists and identify useful research. Following the outbreak of World War II, Navy intelligence and the Army Chemical Corps began developing methods of mind control. The CIA's predecessor of the OSS experimented with different strains of marijuana to develop an effective truth serum. In 1947, Naval Intelligence launched Project Chatter to study the efficiency of various drugs in interrogations. The CIA entered the mind control program in 1950 with the creation of Project Bluebird. With the former Naval Intelligence officer Morse Allen heading the program, initially the program researched hypnosis and sleep induction for use in extracting information from foreign agents as well as safeguarding information from the enemy, employing similar techniques. Researchers quickly forgot the notion of consent, so praised a few years earlier for its inclusion in the Nuremberg Code. Soon, apologists were using the same excuses as Nazis convicted as war criminals to justify their research. CIA doctors broke their Hippocratic oaths in which they swore to abstain from doing harm. I mean, it can be quite boring, but this is the main evidence to support it. On June 22nd, 1954, Esther Brooks wrote a proposal to the CIA entitled The Military Application of Hypnotism. Through Esther Brooks, I've lost my train of thought, but this is what Esther Brooks stated. In deep hypnosis, the subject, military or civilian, can be given a message to be delivered to, say, Colonel X in Bernil. The subject may then be sent to Berlin on any specific routine assignment, and the message will be perfectly safe because A, the subject will have no memory whatsoever in the waking state as to the nature and contents of the message. B, it can be arranged that the subject will have no knowledge of ever being hypnotised. And C, it can be arranged that no one beside Colonel X in Berlin can hypnotise the subject to recover the message. I will take a number of men and will establish them through the use of hypnotism and the condition of the split personality. Consciously, they will be ardent communists, fanatical adherents to the party line, ready and eager to submit to any discipline which the party may prescribe. Unconsciously, they will be loyal Americans, determined, just as Grimley, determined to thwart the communists at every turn in the road. This sounds unbelievable, but I assure you it will work. So that is evidence, because it's his own words. And this is the head of a naval intelligence operation that said that. An intriguing case involving hypnosis appeared before Danish criminal courts in the early 50s. 20-year-old Paul Hardrup robbed a Copenhagen bank at gunpoint, killing 2 bank employees in the process. He made his getaway by bicycle and hid in the stairway of a nearby building where police soon apprehended him. Hardrup did not implicate anyone else at first. Police identified the bicycle's owner as Bjorn Nielsen and learned that the pair had shared a cell at Horsens State Prison for 18 months before their release in 1949. Fellow inmates reported to investigators that Nielsen kept Hardrup in a hypnotic trance for hours a day. By December of 1951, Hardrup recovered his memories of the event and withdrew his confession. He claimed to have been under hypnosis and named Nielsen as the mastermind and architect of the robbery. Police arrested Nielsen for his role in the robbery and double murder, and the court-appointed doctor found Hardrup to be highly susceptible to hypnosis once he was able to undo the locks put in place by Nielsen. Nielsen received a sentence of life imprisonment. Meanwhile, Hardrup was committed to a psychiatric prison and released in late 1966. From 1955 to 1956, CIA researchers working under MKUltra Subproject 43 found promising leads on how to influence a subject's suggestibility to hypnosis by using drugs and sensory deprivation to induce dissociative states. Experiments involving altered personality function as a result of environmental manipulation have yielded promising leads in terms of suggestibility and the production of trance-like states. There is reason to believe that environmental manipulations can affect tendencies for dissociative phenomena to occur. Isolation, in particular, can markedly change the individual's response to suggestions in the form of verbal communications. Sirhan, I believe this was the one who assassinated Robert Kennedy. "24-year-old Palestinian refugee Sirhan was unable to recall shooting presidential hopeful Robert Kennedy. Courtroom psychiatrist Dr. Bernard Diamond was called in and determined that Sirhan could only remember the assassination while under hypnosis, to which he proved highly susceptible. Through simple hypnotic suggestions, Diamond was able to get Sirhan to behave like a monkey and climb the bars of his cell. Sirhan immediately forgot about his actions and denied them when confronted. Sirhan learned self-hypnosis through a mail order caused Sirhan learned self-hypnosis through a small mail order course offered by AMARC, standing for a Modern Rosicrucian Group. Sirhan used techniques such as automatic writing to induce himself into a trance. It is during one of these sessions that he infamously scribbled "RFK must die" repeatedly in his notebook. Sirhan's lawyer, Lawrence Teeter, believed that his client was a Manchurian candidate and suggested the techniques used in the CIA's MKUltra program and Operation Artichoke were employed in the assassination of Kennedy. Wow. How interesting. Wow. I mean, there was a program that for some reason it is very, very hard to find, and it is called Dark Skies, and it is about this CIA bloody detective thingamajiggy, and he's not very high up in the rankings, but he witnesses a UFO incident, and you know, it starts to open his mind, and he comes across Operation Blue Book, and it's all about aliens and UFOs and everything, and then he found out that the president had no knowledge to this, and so he discloses it to the President Kennedy, and then President Kennedy got shot. So you got to question about these programs, and you got to question about where they come from, and you know, what basis of reality are they based on. So I'm gonna do 2 parts to this, I think, and I'm gonna draw a close to this first part because I've been wittering on that for 25 minutes, and you know, but honestly, it's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you on my next live stream. Thank you.